You guys, welcome back to King Ols. And yes, today I'm now here for my heavyweight boxing predictions for 2024. These are bold predictions as well, so I am kind of thinking outside the box with these. I've got quite a few to go through. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. But yeah, this is kind of a run through of what I do think might happen this year in 2024 in the heavyweight division. And yeah, like I might be going over the top a little bit, but no, I think I made them fairly realistic. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, let's go on with it. So first of all, I said it in yesterday's video. Alexander Usyk becomes undisputed. I honestly do see Alexander Usyk beating Tyson Fury in February. I feel like Alexander Usyk will be able to outbox Fury and turn the pace up whenever he needs to. I feel like it's a difficult fight for Tyson Fury. He hasn't really fought too many people like Usyk, and whenever Fury really does fight southpaws, he struggles. And Usyk's the best southpaw by miles that Tyson Fury's ever gonna step up against. So yeah, I'm going to do a more of a video breaking it down, but yeah, I'm fairly confident that Alexander Usyk will get the win over Tyson Fury. So yeah, I think Usyk will become undisputed this year. Okay, next up we have got Ruiz returns with a win in a warm-up fight. I have no idea who Andy Ruiz Jr. might be against when he comes back, but I do think we will see him in 2024. Don't know when it will be, but I do think we will see Andy Ruiz Jr. in 2024. And I don't think he'll be against the best level of opponent. I think he'll win, obviously, in a kind of warm-up fight where, he's not really against the most well-known guy. And then, hopefully we can see him, in with better guys by the end of the year. Okay, next up we've got not Joe Joyce. Daniel Dubois comes in and fights Otto Wallin and beats him. Knowing Otto Wallin does not really like to take easy fights when he comes back. Like Wallin's a real game guy. Yes, he is coming off a real brutal defeat to Anthony Joshua. But yeah, I see him fighting Daniel Dubois, and I think it's a really good fight as well. And I think it's a fight that Daniel Dubois actually ends up winning. So yeah, I think it's a good fight. Wallin will be able to cause Daniel Dubois a few problems. Dubois, he's not going to be able to deal with Wallin the way AJ did. That's never going to happen. Wallin will be able to cause him problems. I don't know when this happens, but I just have a feeling we might see a fight like this, like Dubois versus a Jermaine Franklin or versus Wallin or something. I see this happening. And Wallin's a good name for Dubois' record as well still. So, yeah, this is what I think will happen. And, yeah, Dubois will win. Next up, I've got Anthony Joshua beats Filip Hrgović for the IBF world title. Yeah, surely. So, it's going to become vacant. Obviously, the winner of Usyk and Fury will have to vacate that. And then AJ and Hrgović are the two top guys in the IBF. So these two will fight. Joshua beats him any day of the week, in my opinion. I don't think it'd be too hard for AJ. Yeah, honestly, I feel like AJ can win this fight inside 6 or 7 rounds. Or outbox Hrgović, he'll knock him out, in my opinion. I think Hrgovic's style is tailor-made for someone like Anthony Joshua. I think Joshua completely runs through him, hopefully as well. Be good to see AJ fully back in that mix with the titles again. So yeah, I think Joshua beats Filip Hrgović, and I think he'll be able to do it fairly easily. Next up, we've got I think Zhilei Zhang will beat Joseph Parker. Yes, Joseph Parker performed really well in his last fight against Deontay Wilder. I think Zhang's much more of a threat, though. I think this is a great fight, and I think it's definitely winnable for Joseph Parker. These two guys are two top guys in the WBO. I see these two fighting. Well, 100%. I'm pretty confident that these two will fight in 2024. Whether Zhang wins or not, I think Zhang will win. But, if Joseph Parker wins, I won't be surprised. You can't count Joseph Parker out of this, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm saying that this will happen in 2024. And if it does, I think that Zhilei Zhang will win. And hopefully he is able to eventually go on and get a title shot, because he does deserve it, especially with, 2 back-to-back wins over Joe Joyce. And then if he goes on and beats Joseph Parker, who's just completely, schooled Deontay Wilder, then Zhang deserves it. So, yeah, I've got, this is what I think will happen. Next up, I've got Joe Joyce returning against Tom Schwartz, and he wins. Look, I've heard rumors that possibly Joe Joyce might be fighting against Tom Schwarz. Heard rumors. If this happens, Joe Joyce wins. I think it's a good return fight for Joe Joyce as well. I think it's a good, solid return fight for Joe Joyce. It's a fight which he should win. Obviously, Schwarz is well known for being in there with Tyson Fury. Look, Joe Joyce will win this fight, and it looks like it will happen. Like, I do feel like people in British boxing now know Schwarz because he did fight Tyson. So, yeah, I think it makes sense for Joe Joyce to fight him in his return. Yeah, this is what I'm saying, in my opinion. Joe Joyce beats Tom Schwarz in a return fight after 2 back-to-back losses to Zhang in like March or April time. Next up, I've got Ngannou beats Derek Ward Chisora. It'll probably be a fight in Saudi Arabia or something, possibly like on an undercard to something. Would it be made event? I don't know, probably not. But yeah, I have a feeling that this fight might actually happen. I think it makes sense as well. I do, and I think Francis Ngannou wins this fight after seeing his last performance against Fury. Yeah, I think he beats Ngannou. I think Ngannou beats Chisora. I do think Chisora's got that good, nice brawler style that can cause Ngannou some problems, and it'd be interesting to see how Ngannou could deal with Chisora, but I think he's more skilled. Ngannou's more skilled than people think. So I do think Ngannou beats Chisora. There'll be no easy fight in my opinion. I see these two fighting. I think Ngannou definitely has like 2 fights or so this year. Surely they'll be in Saudi Arabia. It might be on an undercard or something, or it might even be its own main event. I don't know. Saudi Arabia is now giving, boxing, especially heavyweight boxing, a lot of big opportunities now. So I do see a fight like this happening, and I do think I think it will, interest a lot of people. It certainly interests me if it happens. Okay, next up, I've got Bakole loses to Kabayel. Yeah, there's been a lot going on with Martin Bakole. Apparently, he set up like a GoFundMe page to become champion or something. I don't know. A bit of a weird one. But yeah, I think he fights Kabayel. And I think Kabayel beats him. Especially after his last performance. I think Bakole's massively overrated, to be completely honest with you. I don't even think Bakole's that great. I think he's overrated, and I think he's a good stylistic matchup for someone like Kabayel. I think it's a good fight as well. It probably happen on what if they do like an Ngannou Chisora main event in Saudi? Then they do like a Bakole Kabayel fight on that card as well. Makes sense. So yeah, I think Kabayel wins. Next up, I've got Frank Sanchez beating Manuel Charr. I think this fight happens. I feel like it does. I think they're both contenders in the WBO. I think this one happens. And I think, Frank Sanchez wins. Frank Sanchez is avoided. So I don't think you can blame him for taking a kind of fight like this. Manuel Charr is floating around quite a bit at the moment. His name's floating around the division at the moment. I see him fighting Frank Sanchez this year, 100%. I think it will probably happen on a Saudi undercard. I know, and Ngannou Chisora main event, Bakole Kabayel on the card, Sanchez and Charr on the card. I don't know. Would that even do great? No, probably not the best of numbers for that card. But no, I feel like this happens. Sanchez and Charr, and I think Frank Sanchez gets the win. Probably happening on a Saudi Arabia undercard. Next up, I've got Fabio Wardley wins against a top 15 fighter. Honestly, I have confidence in Fabio Wardley coming into this year, and I think he can do well. Don't know who the top 15 fighter is going to be, but it might be top 20 or something like that. But I do think Fabio Wardley would beat a half-decent name this year. Honestly, I do. I have confidence in his ability, to be honest with you. I feel like he's looking really good at the moment, coming off a big one over David Adelaide. Yeah, I don't know who he will fight next, obviously, but obviously, I think he's the British champion at the moment. But I do think he will be a good name this year. I honestly do think that. Okay, next up, I've got Anderson beats Jermaine Franklin. Obviously, Anderson probably, right now, one of America's biggest up-and-coming heavyweights. I think he will fight Jermaine Franklin. I see this fight coming from a mile away. This fight weapon, I feel like it'll be a decent name of Anderson's record. And Anderson will beat him. It won't happen in Saudi. It will happen in America somewhere. Possibly even like a top-ranked main event. Wouldn't surprise me. Their top ranker clearly trying to massively push Anderson. So, I think Anderson wins that. Okay, next up I've got Deontay Wilder fights Francis Ngannou in Saudi Arabia. It's happening towards the end of the year. Wilder, I have a feeling, might retire no matter what the result is after this fight. I also feel like it's a good fight for Deontay Wilder. I think it's definitely a good, solid, winnable fight for him, star-wise. And I also do think that, he'll get a good bag before he retires fighting in Saudi again. And then he's 38. He's 38 now, and I think it's a fight. It's a main event, which does good, solid numbers as well. Deontay Wilder and Francis Ngannou, especially after Wilder losing to Parker. Now that AJ fights out the window for Wilder, I think Ngannou's the next big fight for Deontay Wilder to take. So I think this makes all the sense in the world. I think Wilder should take time out, come back towards the end of the year, and fight Francis Ngannou in Saudi Arabia, then possibly retire. Either way is whatever Wilder wants to do. But yeah. I think this is the fight to make, though. Wilder and Ngannou. I know what happened in Saudi. Next up, I've got Daniel Dubois will beat Joe Joyce in a rematch later on this year. Yeah, honestly, I think this will happen. I think that Joe Joyce, obviously, as I said, will beat Tom Schwarz. Then he'll come back, and I think he'll lose to Daniel Dubois. Honestly, yeah. I don't want to say what to say on this one, but yeah, I think Dubois is definitely excelling a lot more than Joyce is. Joyce is getting old, coming off 2 back-to-back knockout brutal defeats. So yeah, I think Daniel Dubois beats Joyce in a rematch, and Dubois is going to be more confident than ever now after a good, solid performance against Usyk and coming in for a win over Miller. Next up, to end it, I've got Anthony Joshua fights Tyson Fury in Saudi Arabia for the IBF title. Yeah, I think what will happen here, Usyk, obviously, as I said earlier, beats Fury. Then I think Saudi will pay Usyk to step aside, and then they'll make Joshua and Fury fight for the IBF title. Then possibly we see the winner of this fight, Alexander Usyk, in 2025 or something like that. I feel like it's got this written all over it, to be honest with you. And I think it's an interesting fight. I think Joshua's definitely got a good chance of being able to beat Fury now. I'm not definitely saying he'll win, but I think Joshua's got a good, solid chance, in my opinion. We'll have to see how they both perform in their fights later on in the year. But yeah, this has got to happen this year, in my opinion. It must. I don't see anywhere else this happens. This fight, if we are to see Joshua and Fury, it must happen in 2024, surely. And I think this makes all the sense in the world. If Fury loses to Usyk, Joshua beats Hergovich for the IBF, then Fury will obviously have a rematch clause at a title anyway. So then Fury, it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense for Joshua to fight Fury. I think it can add up. Then the winner fights Usyk. Yeah, done. Anyway, thanks for watching the video, King. I might be overreacting, being a bit optimistic here, but yeah, anyway. These are my predictions. I might be being a bit positive, but yeah, anyway. Thanks for watching. Peace out.